All right. Good evening, everybody. I'm here. You see, I'm here by myself, and you see that there's no commercial because my co-host is the one that usually take care of those things. She had a bit of an situation to deal with this night, so she couldn't. But I had already asked like Dr. Touchstone to come talk to us about all the fabulous things that she's doing in the West Park. Like y'all know, I done said that that's like my adopted home city. I still live in the best city, Miramar, Florida, but like West Park is like a close second. I need y'all to support all the things that's happening over there. So I'm Sandra Sheffer, one of the co-hosts of Racing the Races, and we're gonna be it's gonna be a quick conversation today because you know that what is the state of the city
It's the
address.
State of the City address that's being presented tonight at 6 p.m. at City Hall. Anyone can also live stream it at the www.cityofwestpark.org.
Yeah, so we're gonna have her. She's gonna go there and take care of that at 6. We're gonna live stream it on the page so you guys can know about all the fantastic thing that's coming that's happening in West Park. And like I said, you know, I'm part of her little text group, so I get all the cool events that's happening. I think I went there for like Martin Luther King Day. It was one of the days that I spent
Yes.
time in West Park, so I came to the event that they had then. I actually voted last year during Early Verdant in West Park, so I definitely want to highlight the city and all the great things that we're talking about. So this conversation ain't about me, is about you. Tell us about like what's your vision for West Park. First of all, tell us why you decided to run for this seat, right? And once you did that, is it what you expected to be?
Well, yes, certainly. I had been advocating for the city as a community advocate 7 years prior to my election win. Running for the commissioner for the city of West Park in 2022 was my third time actually running. I ran consecutively in 2018, 2020, and I was successful in 2022. So that's just a testament to just persevere and keep going. While attending the meetings, I also sat on several different of the boards. I was the co-chair to the Charter Review Committee. I was the chair to the Education Advisory Committee, and I attended all of the meetings and all the HOA meetings and so forth prior to me running in 2018 as well as thereafter. So I was abreast of what was going on, and God laid it on my heart after there was an incident that happened around 2015 at an event that I was affiliated with. And so I said, well, let me, go and see what's going on down here because, like I said, it didn't sit well with me. So upon coming to that first meeting, that's when we discovered that it was a plethora of things on the agenda that the community did not know about. And God placed it in my spirit. He said, you need to be on the wall like Nehemiah for your people, right? And that's exactly what I did. I know that I have a certain skill sets and talents that God has blessed me with. And I know that I could have lent those talents to my residents in the city of West Park. Background, I'm a fifth year generationer that has lived here. My family moved to Carver Ranches, the subdivision of the city of West Park, in 1951. So my roots are very deep here, and I know what it has been like, and I don't want us to deviate from the culture that has been established historically in our community because we've always been close knit and unified at some point in time.
So I know one of the things that's kind of happening in Broward is that everybody's moving to South Florida, right? We have people with
Yes.
a whole bunch of money from like the north, like New York. We have some folks that's from South America that got all kind of money and they're moving to South Florida, particularly Broward, and it's making it difficult for people to even if like they've paid their houses off because the
Right.
value of the property has gone up. Now the taxes are higher, the
Right.
insurance are higher. My mother's dealing with that in Miami. So as a commissioner, is there anything that you can do for the residents to kind of help them with that? Like what kind of advocacy exists? Well, advocacy would be different. That
Certainly.
was your role before, but as an elected official, is there anything you could do to help the people in the community stand
Yes.
there?
Well, to me as a commissioner, we are the number one advocate, right? Because we are charged with being in the trenches in the community, outreaching to our community to find out what the needs of the community is. And it's my job to advocate and network to find those resources that's going to mitigate the needs of our community. So I still consider myself an advocate, right?
Mhm.
So in that advocacy, even prior to me running for office, I would go and meet with certain department heads. Like I met with Marty Kier at the property appraiser office to kind of get an idea of what we can do to kind of lower those high property taxes that was the chief complaint for the residents. So he did arm me with some tools that we could use. Like just recently, we had our first reading on the adoption of the senior, the additional $25,000 homestead exemption for the seniors, and another $25,000 again for the seniors upon qualification of the criteria. So in aggregate, a couple of hundred of our residents are going to benefit at the tone of $50,000 cost savings as far as homestead exemption is concerned once it passed the second reading. So that was something that in my advocacy role, I did seek out solutions that we can absolutely bring back to mitigate the high costs. And our senior residents are the most vulnerable because they're on a fixed income. So in addition to that, what I have done is to try to see if there's avenues that we can actually roll back even more the millage rate. As an advocate prior to me being a commissioner, I always advocated for our millage rate to be reduced because at one point in time we were at 8.65, right? So then it eventually got rolled back to 8.5, and currently we're at 8.2. But there are some challenges on the horizon, however, with the cost of our law enforcement with BSO. So we're trying to come up with ways in which we can help to mitigate those costs so we're not up there at the highest tier of taxes back again, right? So we're currently looking at avenues and ways that we can mitigate that. Some of my suggestions were to put out a RFQ, right? Which is
What's the RFQ for those of us that don't know?
it's a request for quotes from other municipalities that have their own law enforcement and so forth, and see whether or not we can have an interlocal agreement, which is an agreement between two municipalities for them to service us as far as our law enforcement needs. Unfortunately, the majority of the commission did vote to renew our BSO contract for additional 5 years. So what I'm even proffering up is not even going to be capable until that term is up, right? But we can be proactive, and I advocate for proactiveness so that we can have a line of sight as far as what direction we would need to go and have a more competitive edge when we are at the negotiation table, right? Because once any business know that you're the only one that they're looking at, they're not apt to basically, to me, give you the most beneficial, cost effective contract, right? Because if you're only
That's
looking at
unfortunate, right? That's unfortunate because you would think that they would want to do what's best for the city, best
correct,
for the community, because it's not like they don't get funding sources from all different types of places, right? They get money from the state, they get money from the federal government, they just get
correct,
money from some of everybody. And so, like, why would you, I would think, like, why would you put a chokehold on a community to, make it dangerous because they may not be able, and I'm not saying that West Park is dangerous. So
yes,
please don't, don't take what I'm saying as that, but you would
right,
think that you would want, because at the end of the day, particularly with BSO, it's an elected official, and
correct,
everybody in the county votes for that person. Even like
correct.
my city, we don't have BSO, right? We have like
Mhm.
our own police department, but we still vote for the sheriff. So you would think that they would just want to make sure the entire county is safe, and not to the point where they would take advantage of the fact that a small city may not have the funding that they would require, and they would take advantage of that situation.
Correct, correct. So that's the thing that we're looking into to help mitigate that, because generally speaking, on every municipality's budget, law enforcement and fire rescue takes up the bulk of that, right? But for us in particular, it seems to be taking up in excess of what other cities are spending for it, right? So I want to say currently our total budget is around $16 million. And the contract for BSO is like half of that, right? So right off the bat, just for law enforcement alone, that's one of our main cost burdens, right? And then in addition to that, most people don't really understand what their taxes are concerned. You have your ad valorem taxes, which are set by the millage rate that we discussed previously. And then you have your non-ad valorem assessments, which basically for our city are solid waste and fire, right? So that means that they have to apply an additional taxation on the residents that is not controlled by the millage rate, and it's more so of a fixed calculated cost that is causing an increase in their total tax bill, right?
So how do you explain that to folks in the community, right? Because a lot of time people are like, listen, you all this millage talk, blah, blah, blah. I don't understand. Particularly if you're dealing with the older community, you know, people that have been there since like 1951 or 60, 70,
Right.
80, whatever. They're older. They're not understand all this politic talk, right? All they know is like, my check is $982 a month. You know what I mean? I don't have no
Right.
mortgage, and it seems like I can't pay these taxes, insurance no more. I'm out here eating like ramen noodles every day. Like, how do
Exactly.
you explain to them, like, well, we need to kind of get more money from you in order for us to maybe make your community safer? Like, how do you have that
Correct.
conversation?
Well, the way that I try to explain it, particularly to our older residents, I first begin with educating them on how the taxes are broke down. Just like I was telling you, you have a set of ad valorem taxes that each municipality or board, like the school board and Broward County Commission, they set the millage rate. So that is a set formulation based on your elected officials saying, okay, this is what we're going to set the rate as, right? But then you have those additional assessments, and particularly in West Park, we have those assessments because the millage that we set
I'm not sure. I'm
does
sure
not.
that's my internet or what's going on.
Everything okay? I can't hear you now.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you for a minute, and it was saying that the last thing I heard you say is that you were explaining ad valorem taxes to the resident and trying to get them to understand that. And I just want to know how to
Correct.
go over when all they thinking about, like, my check's 982. You know what I mean?
Right, I
What
understand.
am I gonna do?
So what I try to educate them on is the difference between the non-ad valorem and the ad valorem, right? And I try to explain to them because we don't have enough money, right, to sustain our city because we don't have the appropriate ratio of business tax base versus residential property tax base. We're solely budgeted off of the property taxes from the residents because we only have a small amount of businesses within the city, right?
How do you attract people to come and do business in West Park? How do you do that? Is there some sort of
Well,
incentive program that you can offer to get people to open up businesses in the community? Is there
well, I'm going to
space
tell
for
you
that?
this. Now, we did a land use change back in 2018 that made it a mixed use area in certain areas of the city, right? And with that, the city manager coupled that with opportunity zone, right? So businesses will be incentivized if they come and do business within our community. But it's sort of like a catch-22 in my opinion, because we were already built out and established when we became a city, right? We don't have urban land space for development, right? So that's why that land use change came to fruition, because now it allows for certain residential areas to be classified as mixed use.
Mm-hmm.
But the issue with that is that any business that comes in and they want to do business with us, they would essentially have to buy out those homes,
Right.
in order to make way or make land space to develop, right? So it makes it more difficult and it makes it more cumbersome to attract businesses. But I think that what we should probably focus on is perhaps a revitalization of the businesses that we already currently have. If we were to develop a program where we can incentivize them to kind of bring their establishment up to code, improve it or whatever, then maybe other businesses can see how these businesses are flourishing and we will attract other businesses. Because West Park is in a prime location. We have hundreds of thousands of transient individuals that travel through our city via
Right.
441, Hollandale Beach Boulevard, and Pembroke Road.
Mm-hmm.
So we're at a prime location where we should be attracting some of them individuals while they are passing through to stop by these businesses and patronize it, right? And we also have to find businesses that the individuals in our community need and would love to patronize so that we can have a healthy economy, right? So one of the things that I have been particularly trying to do is networking with different, what is it called? Oh God, the commerce business, like
The Chamber of Commerce.
Chamber of
Yeah,
Commerce.
Chamber of
Thank you so
Commerce.
much. I had a brain
Yeah,
fart.
no, that's
So
okay.
I've been trying to network with a successful Chamber of Commerce to see what is their recipe for success, what has been their formula for success in attracting businesses in our neighboring cities such as Miramar and such as Hollywood. Hollandale does a good job, and also the small town of Pembroke Park does a good job in
There's
attracting
also
businesses.
a Black Broward Chamber of Commerce that's ran by Shahua Jared Jelly, and she literally does it.
Yes,
So she does like a really great job with that. So that might be something that you can connect with. And she has like a Black buyers guide and all type of stuff. Not to say that only you only want
absolutely.
business Black businesses in the city of West Park, but there's a very thriving Black Broward Chamber of Commerce that's there. She has events and all different types of things. So I think that would be a great resource for that city. Because
I
she made it
just
I
found
think she
out
went to
about her.
Tallahassee last year and got them like chartered like throughout the state or something like that. So she really
Yes.
did some really good work with the chamber.
I just found out about that individual last week. So I did reach out to her on Facebook and I'm looking forward to connect. So if you're watching, get in contact with me. I'm waiting to hear back from you. But yeah, I just found out about her and I'm willing to connect with any entity that has resources that I can bring back, like I said, to help to benefit my community.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right. So what else? What else y'all got going on? I know that you sent me some flyers with some events that's coming up. Is there anything coming up that you want, people from around the county to come and support in West Park? Because I know it's
Well,
Women's
nothing as
History Month this month.
immediately. This month is Women's History Month. However, we in the city of West Park don't have anything slated for Women's History Month. The next thing that I think that we do have coming up is with Earth Day, and that's sometime in mid-April,
April
in
Earth Day
which
is
we
April
generally,
22nd, I
yeah,
think. Yeah.
which we generally do also couple that with a shredathon as well, where people can come and shred their documents on site and so forth. So we generally do
So
like an Earth
grandma, that
Day.
bill you have from 1977, you can let it go. No, and I'm telling you, like I did this, and I'm saying this because we had to do this with my mother. This woman had bills from the 70s. I'm like, ma'am, you could let them go. You could actually let them
Yes,
go, right?
yes.
So yes.
So that's one of the things that's coming up. And of course, with Mother's Day on the horizon in May. And then we always do like a Father's Day event where it's like food trucks, they have live entertainment, and they also have a car and like bike show. So that's something that we always look forward to. I'm also looking for ways to add events to our community, right? Because with gentrification and and also with the influx of individuals coming in, we have become more diverse, right? So we have to broaden our scope of services that we provide and initiatives that we provide to those populations as well. So I'm looking forward to doing something like a multicultural event where it would celebrate all cultures and so forth, because we have a plethora of Hispanics in our community, the Haitian population, of course, African American and Caucasian, and we need to celebrate diversity. So I am currently looking for sponsorship as far as anyone that is willing to sponsor an event in the city. They can always reach out to me and see how we can make that possible. But I would like to absolutely put on more events and especially have more open sessions with the community to help further that dialogue of education, engagement, inclusivity, and so forth. Because currently we don't have any, I guess, informal opportunities for the community to come out and get their questions asked, right? Other than our formal city meetings. And in those meetings, there's really not a whole bunch of robust back and forth with the residents to answer their concerns immediately. So I would like to bring that to fruition as well, so that the community can have the rightful access that they need to their elected officials, right? Because we are here to serve them in the capacity of their needs. So
So
that's my goal.
nice. So the last thing I want to talk about, like the children are our future, right? Are there any youth programs in West Park?
Oh yeah.
What's the percentage of your population is young folks? Like, how are the schools in that area? Because that's also something that people think about when they're trying to come into a new city. Is that what the schools are like, and what kind of after
Right.
programs that they have in the city?
Okay, so we don't have any public school system within our city boundaries.
Mm.
All of our students go to schools outside of the city. So we have the neighboring town in Pembroke Park that houses our two elementary schools that our students primarily go to. One being Watkins Elementary, and the other one is Lake Forest Elementary. Then we also have a majority of our kids are going to Matt Nickel Middle and Hollandale High School. So those are the primary schools that majority of our students attend. However, we do have some robust, I guess, out the box thinking private schools in the location that is central in our community. So we have about three private institutions that are housed at our Carver Ranches Resource Center right here in the subdivision of Carver Ranches. I know that as a city, we do have the most program for our youth, which is an after school program that services, I believe, from 5 to 12 years old. We also did a partnership with Memorial Regional, and they provide our youth force program for after school and summer care for our middle schoolers. We also have the Boys and Girls Club that's in the area, the Carver Ranches Boys and Girls Club. They have a phenomenal program. They just had I guess a massive career day with trade initiatives to come out and speak to the individuals at the Boys and Girls Club. We have something for our high school students that are called Youth Advisory Council, and that's a city initiative, but we're trying to get them involved into local government. One thing that I'm really excited about is that for the first time this year, our 15, I believe it's 16 to 18-year-olds will be with Career Force, I think it's called, where they have the summer program. So we will be participating in that and providing summer employment opportunities for our residents and abroad. In addition to that, we have Camp Bravery, which is our summer initiative for our youth. And that's, again, 5 to 12 years old that the city provides that initiative as well. Just currently, we rolled out a 16-week free boot camp, fitness boot camp. And I'm so excited about that because that has been filled to capacity. The waiting list is filled. So people are really excited about that. Next thing on the horizon is that we're going to be getting more so sports initiatives. So we're getting our fields and so forth prepared to open up to have those initiatives. So we're supposed to be starting off with tennis because we do have a tennis court at
My
Mary
youngest
Sanders
brother,
Park.
my youngest brother went to college on a tennis scholarship, so that's a very important thing. Yes, that's awesome.
So we're going to be offering free tennis lessons. The other thing that they're going to be doing is they're going to be offering a free basketball camp because we have a nice basketball pavilion that's at Mary Sanders Park as well. The other things that are on the horizon is like the recreational sports such as soccer, baseball, and football, of course. But I also would like to see things recreational, like perhaps having some swimming lessons for the kids, right, for the summertime. I know that for certain programs, they do the initiative that they partner with Broward County with. I forgot Swim Central, I think that's what it's called. And so they do partner with that to some aspect, but I would like it to be on a broader scale because we have people that are almost of adult age that may not know how to swim.
Absolutely.
So
and I remember
I'm
Right, and I
sorry?
remember when I went there. I'm sorry, when I went there for the Martin Luther King Day, the Broward Sheriff's Office Police Athletic League had like a boxing program that was
Yes,
out
that's
there.
true.
So
We do
I
have
know
a
they had the
boxing
boxing program
program.
there. Yes.
Yes, so that's with BSO PAL,
Mhm.
and they do have the Boston program. They also, which is a Broward County wide initiative, they have the BSO Cadet program.
Mhm.
And I know prior to they were looking into doing something with the fire department as well, because I think that the fire department has a similar cadet program. So those are all things that are absolutely, hopefully, on the horizon for our residents' enjoyment and edification.
Right, and it makes them better at the long run. Thank you so much. I don't want you to be too late to the State
Yes.
of the City address that's going to be given by your mayor, Felicia Brunson. Thank you again for taking your time to speak with us and let people know about the great things that's happening. I mean, y'all be driving on Hallandale Beach Boulevard and Pembroke Road. Y'all need to stop in the West Park and find a restaurant. Or I've gotten my nails done before, and my brother uses a barber.
Yes,
In West Park.
yes.
There's a barber shop right on the corner. I think it's like 40th or
Purple
something.
Palace.
Right, right. So he goes to a
Yeah,
barber.
that's on 56 in Pembroke Road, of
Absolutely,
course.
yeah. So y'all need to go on
Yes.
out and check out some services in West Park and keep this city thriving. Thank you very
Well,
much.
just as a plug, the city of West Park is open for business. So if you have a business interest, check out us at the city. You can speak with our economic and development person and the person of Stephen David, and also Mr. Winier is with the building department. So we're open and ready and available for businesses. And so if you know anyone that's looking for a prime place to have their business, send them over to West Park.
Absolutely. And then we're going to live stream the meeting that the State of the City that's taking place as soon as we're done with this. So thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you
Always
so much.
community first.
Absolutely. Community first. Thank you so much. Have a good
Have a
day.
great one. Thanks for having
All
me.
right. Bye-bye, everybody. I told you it'll be a quick interview. Thank Commissioner Dr. Touchstone for coming in and having a quick conversation with us, telling us about all the amazing things that's happening in West Park. And we're going to continue to support that city as much as we can. Like I said, there's a barbershop over there. You can get your nails done. That young lady does great nails. And I should have had the name, and I will add it in the chat as soon as I get that information. And then we're going to live stream the meeting. So thank you very much. Have a good one, and no commercial because I don't have it on my computer. All right. Good night, everybody.